These two you saw in an earlier episode at 90 Days with Rachel Ridingham, and she made mention of the round pen a time or two, so we thought we'd go back and show you some of what we did to get them to where they were at. They're gonna handle this pretty well now. It didn't start out looking as smooth as I hope it'll look today, but I'll try to show you basically what we do to get a pair of horses that, as you can see, are pretty well together. When they're together, they're not fighting, they get along good, but they've also got to learn to function individually. And the best way to do that I've found is to split them up in a pen like this so that you're not making them be apart from each other. I'll try to make it easier to be apart than it is to be together, and they get that idea in their head, and then you can ride them separately. They don't need to be kept separate, but they should know how to be separated and be okay. And so I'll just start moving them around here with my flag, and this is something that takes a little practice. It's like a knife in a monkey's hand. If you don't know what you're doing, you just stir things up. But if you do this right, I can focus their attention with this and pressure them when I want to, and take pressure off them by standing still and not waving my flag or shaking it. But it really extends my arm and makes what my movements have meaning. So that's what the flag's for. So they're over there, they're together. First of all, we're just gonna move them. They can move together. They're watching me nice and close. They can't help but, no horse can help but look at this flag if you shake it at them. So that's a good sign right there that the darker mare passed on the outside. You want them where they can move individually, even though they're right together. Now the inside mare she can go by. She can go by there. That's all a good sign. Now what I'm going to do, since we're quite a ways down the line on these two, is I'll split them up. So I'm going to get right in here and do that. Now that's just pick your spot and find it. Now what these two are going to make this look easy because they've done this, but I'll get them going separate directions. This took a little doing, but now that they know how to do it, they can be real independent of each other. And that is, in their mind, they're taking direction from me, not the other horse. And that is so good to help things when you start to ride them and they're by themselves, to not be wishing they were somewhere else, because they've figured out that maybe the best thing they could do is quit paying attention to the other horse and start paying attention to me. So that's what's going on here, and this is almost too easy for you to see. I'll change direction with them and see if we can get them going the other way. But, so we'll get them going this way. Now I need the dark one on the outside needs to be going the other direction so that we keep track of what direction we've worked them. I'll try to get the inside one to pass. Now the outside mare is getting a little irritated with the inside one, and that's what we want, because pretty quick we'll split them up and they'll be happy to be split up. So I'm going to move the inside mare up. The outside mare is kind of wishing she was by herself. She's not mad, but she's kind of wishing she was by herself. So we'll push this a little bit more. Go on by. Now I'll get in here and split them up. Now we're going opposite directions what we were a little bit ago, and they need to deal with that. And that's going to confuse them a little bit because they'd rather do it the other way. But this is like learning left and right from their back. It's the same, but it feels totally opposite. So now you're seeing a little bit of what this takes. Keeping track of which direction I want them to go. I want the dark mare to go clockwise and the lighter mare counterclockwise. They're trying to figure out how to pass. It's going to go this time. You could see by where they were looking it was going to work. Learn to watch where your horse is looking, and if it's not where you want them to look, redirect it. Whether you're on the ground with a flag, or your arm, or a lead rope, or riding them, looking where they're going is important, and you knowing where they're looking is paramount to affecting what they do. And then you line their body up after you get them looking the right direction. But first of all, looking the right direction. Now this doesn't have to be perfect. This isn't a circus show, but they're watching me. So now, see her adjust herself to get out of the way? They won't run into each other unless you're coming at them like a madman. They'll figure out how to miss each other, and they'll do that. And when they do that, I relax. I'm gonna try to take the darker mare around and keep her walking. This mare's ignoring my movements with the flag now. Now, ideally, I'll stop her looking in there and her looking in there, and they have in their minds decided to pay attention to me rather than each other. And that can't be overstated how nice this is when you start riding them, if they're paying attention to me rather than the horse that they're in with.